Hey guys, Josh here from Momentum Productions, and today we are going to be talking about creating a filmmaking contract. So here's a sample contract that I've used for my own business. Take a look at it. What we're going to do in this video, we're going to fill out the blanks together, and I'm going to be explaining to you each of these clauses here. First off, let's go ahead and get rid of this and put in Momentum Productions. And under it, we can put contract, and we can increase the font and bold it. Can actually make it a little bit bigger. We can go ahead and change the font to something a little bit more professional looking. Let's do Times New Roman. There we go. That looks nice. So this part is pretty simple. Just fill out the client's name, client's address, and of course the filming location. You need to have proof of where the location was, and the contract is a perfect way of getting that proof. So make sure you definitely include the filming location. Production name. What is the name of the project? Could be a birthday party or maybe a short film. The name of those birthday party videos or those short films have to go into the production name. Project details. What is the production? Is it a birthday party? Is it a ceremony of some kind? A wedding? Anything like that goes in this section. You don't have to be too specific, but just getting the general idea of what the production is all about is sufficient. So next we have video editing. Will video editing be included in your services? Yes or no? You can just circle this. Yes or no. And by the way, don't worry, this contract will be available for you to download. Next up, we have the filming date along with the start time and end time. Let's give a little bit more space for the filming date. Just hitting the spacebar a few times. There we go, that should be sufficient. And if we want, we can actually add some underscores here to make a nice line there, make it more organized. Next, we have the estimated date of completion of the project. So put down what you think the rough turnaround time will be. Next up, we have the video production fee. How much will your services cost? You put that in this section here. The deposit is very important. This is basically a security deposit. So in case your client decides to cancel the event, you get to keep the deposit. And it says that in one of these clauses here. So the deposit should always be 50%. Some people put 20, 30, I do 50%. I get half of the money straight up right before any of the work gets started. This is a security deposit, guys. This ensures that you are not being messed with. Here comes our first clause. Clause number 1. The client shall reimburse the videographer for any additional cost the videographer may incur for travel, meals, parking, and other reasonable costs necessary to performance of these services. Pretty straight up and easy to understand, right? So any expenses that you may incur performing any of your services for the client, such as gas or paying for meals of any sorts, shall be reimbursed by the client. So when you create your invoice, you need to have those expenses listed there. And in a future tutorial video, I'll teach you how to properly create an invoice. Clause number 2. The deposit is not refundable if the client cancels or changes the engagement. If the videographer fails to appear at the place and time specified above, the deposit shall be refunded to the client. Final payment must be received upon completion of the video. Right here, where it says the deposit is not refundable, that's my favorite part of this clause. This ensures that my deposit is mine. It's no longer the client's. Even if something goes south on their end and they cancel everything, I still get to keep the deposit. However, if I fail to perform any one of my services or duties, I have to reimburse the client the deposit. Don't think that you can take the deposit and run away. That's not how it works. You have to refund the deposit if your duties are not performed. And of course, final payment must be received upon completion of the video or project. I need to add that in there as well. I've had clients not follow this simply because I didn't have a contract with them and I trusted them. They kind of screwed me over with payment. They didn't pay me until months after I delivered the video, and that was a huge issue. So make sure that you have this bolded out when you give this to your client. Clause number 3. The client shall provide the videographer with a written list of any specific demands that are needed for the filming and editing portions. Complete payment is due on the date the final project is completed. Momentum Productions only accepts cash or payment through PayPal. 3% fee is not included. So when you're dealing with payment, you need to have different forms of payment. For example, I accept PayPal and cash. Don't just be a one-way street. Give the client some options. When you're dealing with PayPal, there is a 3% fee that they charge. So you have to let the client know that if they decide to pay through PayPal, that they also need to add 3% of the total cost of the project to that payment. Clause number 4. The client shall assist and cooperate with the videographer in obtaining the desired footage and/or photos, including but not limited to specifying persons and/or scenes to be filmed, taking time to pose for videos or photographs at the videographer's discretion, providing a person to guide the videographer to desired persons and/or scenes, pre-shoot consultations, etc. The videographer shall not be responsible for footage not taken as a result of the client's failure to provide reasonable assistance or cooperation. This is another important clause, and another one of my favorites actually, because this states that it is the client's responsibility to guide the videographer or photographer to get the desired photos. If the videographer or photographer is left to shoot whatever, then the client cannot complain if an event was not captured. Clients need to be extremely specific with the videographer or photographer when wanting to obtain certain footage or photos. Next clause. The videographer retains copyright in the final production of the video and hereby grants the client unlimited but non-exclusive rights to use or reproduce the movie for which the client pays. Another great clause. You retain copyright ownership over the video, so it's your property and not the client's. The client does not have permission to send this video to, let's say, a Hollywood production so they can make copies and make millions of dollars off of it. No, this is your product. You created this, you own it. Remember that. Clause number 6. Raw footage or photographs are kept for 4 weeks after the project is completed and then deleted in order to make space on hard drives for future projects. If you would like the raw footage or photographs, please ask for it. So I've had issues of my hard drives filling up. So I give the client a grace period of about 4 weeks until I completely erase the event. Make sure your client understands this so that way they can't blame you. And this will save you money on hard drives as well, so you don't keep stacking up, and it just gets really tough organizing all of this footage, especially old footage that you no longer need. 4 weeks is more than enough time to let a client decide whether or not they want to keep the raw footage. Clause number 7. Aerial videography and/or photography. If aerial services are requested, the client must provide proof of liability insurance to cover property damage of the location that the drone is being operated in. Aerial services are only available if there are acceptable flying conditions. For example, wind conditions, humidity, rain, and snow. The aerial service is a premium service. It will be charged by half hour and will not be included in the retainer option. So this clause talks all about aerial cinematography and photography. The client should pay for liability insurance, and liability insurance can be purchased temporarily just for 1 day. There's actually a great app on your phone that you can download called Verifly, and you can buy temporary insurance for, let's say, an hour. I believe it's $10 an hour. It's fantastic, and you should definitely include that in your invoice when billing your client. However, if the client has their own method of obtaining liability insurance, leave that to them. But they must show proof of liability insurance to cover any property damage in case the drone falls or crashes into something. When I talk about retainer option, This is if you have a client that wants to use your services on a regular salary. We'll cover more of this in a future tutorial video. On the second page is where we fill out the signature and print down our names and phone numbers. Make sure your client has read through the contract and understood each clause. That way they know what they're getting into. So I hope this video has helped you understand how to create a proper contract. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Also, give this video a like and share it with your friends. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. You can also check out my website at www.capturethemomentum.com for a free newsletter where I give away cinematography and photography tips. And if you're a company and you would like me to review or create tutorial videos on your products, please email me at info@capturethemomentum.com. I can't wait to see what you guys create. Take care. Bye-bye.